The importance of honeybees, the economic and the advantages of the beauty of Saskatchewan comes alive. We have Fahim Raza here with us, and I want to talk specifically about what that means in terms of the vibrancy of our province and the research. Thanks for coming into the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
I want to talk a little bit about the interest that you have, but who is Fahim and how did he come to Canada?
Well, thanks a lot for the introduction. So, my full name is Fahim Raza, and I'm originally from Pakistan. So, I completed my early education from Pakistan. I finished my bachelor's and master's degree in agriculture with a major subject of entomology. And my interest in honeybee research started during my master's degree, where I was focused on a research of management of varroa mites of honeybees. So that is an ectoparasite of honeybees. So then after finishing my master's degree in 2016, I won a Chinese government scholarship where I get the knowledge about microbiology. And I was lucky enough to avail an opportunity of as a postdoc fellow in Honeybee Health Lab at WCV University of Saskatchewan, which is co-led by Drs. Elimir Simko and Sarah Wood. And it was back in December 2021 when I came to Canada, and I have had the privilege to work with different researchers and students across from 15 different countries across Asia, Europe, Africa, and Americas. So in addition to do our research, we also shared many happy moments together.
So when we look at the importance of honeybees, we take it for granted, I think, here. It just happens every year, but the bees can be susceptible to any diseases and things of that nature. So why are the honeybees so important for our environment?
Well, honeybees are extremely important to maintain a balance between the environment, and it also maintain a balance of biodiversity and ecosystem. So according to some reports, honeybees are crucial for pollination. So they can pollinate approximately 75% of the crops as well as wild plants. So they pollinate flowering plants, which includes the food we rely on, including vegetables and fruits and nuts. So taken together, honeybees are very crucial for our for maintaining a balance in our ecosystem.
And that would include people that might be watching that are avid gardeners, or they might like to plant flowers and things of that nature, or blossoms on trees. Do the bees also use any type of flower, or do they kind of focus on one type of plant or flowering stems and everything that they would maybe want more than others? Would they have a preference?
Well, currently in our lab at University of Saskatchewan, some of my colleagues are doing research like what kind of pollens bee like to collect. For example, in Saskatchewan, most of the bees collect pollen from canola crop. But it's not only limited to the canola flowers or plants. Bees can collect pollen from wild plants as well.
So things like, I guess there's peas, flax, and other agricultural crops, but there's also the ornamental types of flowers on trees and flowers. But is there any risk to the bees? I always wondered how they overwinter and then all of a sudden come alive. How does that happen?
Well, of course, bees experience a lot of risks from our environment. For example, they have to face the pesticide exposure that most of the beekeepers used on canola crops. So this is one of the threat to bees, as well as bees have to survive from a very harsh winter in Canada. So environmental stress also play a vital role that contributes to the mortality of the honeybee hives. For example, or winter mortality.
If we talked about something that can affect a hive and the larger population, that will impact a lot of the farming community and ag research even that goes into that. We talked about foul brood disease. What does that do with the bees themselves? Does it kind of hit them very fast, or can it spread? How does that affect the populations?
Well, I would like to go in a little bit more detail about this because like commercial beekeepers face these kind of infectious diseases in honeybees that really affects their business of honey production. So when we talk about infectious diseases, then there are different diseases. For example, bee has to face bacterial diseases, fungal, viral diseases, and if we talk about bacterial diseases, then there are two important brood diseases for honeybees. For example, European foul brood and American foul brood disease. American foul brood disease is economically important disease because it spreads faster and the results are chaotic for beekeepers. For example, this American foul brood disease is caused by a bacterium known as Panibacillus larvae, and there are two forms of this bacterium. One is vegetative form and another is spores of this bacterium. So the problem is that this spore can live up to 70 years.
770?
Yes, 70 years.
Wow.
70. So, so they can stay on the high materials or contaminated equipments. So if it is not properly taken care of, then it spreads faster. So first it enters into the baby larvae, baby of honeybees. So and then they proliferate inside the gut of those larvae, and then they start replicating, and eventually it ends up by killing the larvae or the baby of the honeybees. And you can see dark larval scales which is firmly adhered to the ventral lateral wall of the cell of a comb. And through these scales as well as infected larvae, the other bees, if they rob those materials, this disease usually spread faster, and at the end, so it kills all of the hives in beekeepers' bee yards.
Is there any concerns that you see from your point as a researcher? I guess some of us are afraid of bees, and maybe not bees, but bee stings. Is there any process or things that we can do to avoid being stung by bees, or do honeybees typically become a threat to the average person working in the garden or outside?
Well, actually, to my knowledge, bees are not a threat, but helping to maintain a balance of our ecosystem, as I said. So unless they are disturbed, they don't sting. So basically, bees have this kind of behavior. I don't want to go in detail, but there is a plenty of literature available to explore this. But if you disturb a beehive, then definitely if that hive is more defensive, I would like to use the word defensive instead of aggressive.
Sure. Yep.
So they try to defend themselves. So that is their last hope to keep themselves safe, because after a sting, bees usually die.
And what are your future plans then for your work here in Saskatoon with the university? What are some upcoming things that you're working on with your research?
Well, I feel incredibly fortunate to have the opportunity to continue working in the field of honeybee research. So, as I said, I started my postdoc research fellow back in December 2021, and I have recently completed that project. So now I'm going to join as a technician in apicultural research with the British Columbia Technology Transfer Program, which works under the umbrella of British Columbia Honey Producer Association. And it is a non-profit organization with a mission to promote honeybee health and productivity and to advance the sustainability of beekeeping industry in British Columbia. through research, education, and knowledge transfer. So I will be working closely with our BCTTP project lead, with Dr. Nuria Morfan and our administrative assistant Becky Miller, as well as our science communicator Leilani Pulsifer. And together with the beekeepers from BC and the BCHPA, so we will conduct applied research and technology transfer activities focused on sporting selective breeding for varroa resistance, as well as improving our winter techniques.
How would people reach out to you if they wanted to find out more information?
Well, we have a very well established honeybee health lab that I mentioned before, which is co-led by Drs. Elimir Simko and Sarah Wood. So if someone want to reach them, or so I can provide their email ID, or you can Google it, honeybee health lab, or so this honeybee health lab exists in WCVM Veterinary Pathology College. So if someone has any questions, so they can directly reach out to them, as well as if you need any information from my side, then I can provide my email ID.
We'll put that up then.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. And you can search on BCTTP website as well. So there is a contact information for all of our team members, so you can always reach to us.
Perfect. Fahim, thanks so much for coming down. I wish you the best of luck this upcoming summer season, and keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Randy, for having me.
That's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Warren Grassam, as well as Fahim Raza. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. We'll see you next time on Connect.